Hello, it is I, Mars, the queer astrology nerd. Good morning. I'm going to do a lesson about, or I guess I should say this, welcome to Astrology Visuals, where it's a place where we do astrology lessons that are with pictures, charts for learning. Today we're going to do one that is about the modes. Just trying to get all up in this picture. So, modes are cool. Modes are real cool. What are modes? You ask. How's it picking up on the picture? Fine. Pretty fine. Okay. So, what are modes? Modes are cool. Modes are almost like different states of being. So there are 3 modes, and there are 3 months in each season, and that is kind of the secret of modes. So over here you can see, this is just like a little picture of a quarter of a circle, so kind of this amount, right? A quarter of a circle. We're going over 3 30-degree sections of 360. And what this is showing is cardinal, fixed, and mutable. These are the 3 modes of astrology. And the cardinal signs are like the beginning of a season. Fixed signs are the middle of a season, and mutable signs are the end of a season. Let me see, I think I just have another picture. So, if you wanted to look at it a little bit more obviously like that. So spring has 3 signs in it. That's Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, are the months of spring. Aries is the first sign in spring, and it is a cardinal sign. Taurus is the second sign in spring, and it is a fixed sign. Gemini is the third sign and final sign in spring, and it is a mutable sign. And so if we go again, the next season is summer, and there's 3 months in summer. And those months are Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. And then the same pattern happens again, where Cancer, the first sign in the season, is a cardinal sign. Leo, the middle sign, or the second sign, is a fixed sign. And Virgo, the last sign of the season, is a mutable sign. Again, with autumn, same pattern happens again, but with Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Libra is the beginning of autumn, and it is a cardinal sign. That's the first month of autumn. Scorpio is a fixed sign, and is the middle of autumn. And Sagittarius is a mutable sign, and it is the end of autumn. And then once more again with winter, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Those are the 3 months of winter. So Capricorn is the beginning of winter, so it starts on the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, and it's the first month of winter, so it's a cardinal sign. Aquarius is the second month of winter, so it's a fixed sign, or the middle, and Pisces is the end, or the third sign of that season, the final sign of that season, and so it is a mutable sign. So, what do cardinal, fixed, and mutable mean? So, just a little bit more info about, I'll back up. So what does cardinal, fixed, and mutable mean? over here you see there's a triangle drawn, and this arrow is going from cardinal pointing towards fixed, from fixed pointing towards mutable, and from mutable pointing towards cardinal. So there's like this joint of a triangle that's continually happening. And so like in the last illustration that we just saw that had all of the seasons aligned with the signs, you see that this pattern of cardinal, fixed, and mutable is happening cyclically. It's happening within the course of a single lap around the zodiac. It happens 4 times. So if it's a cyclical process, what do each of these joints mean? Cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinal, it was the beginning of each season, remember? Fixed was the middle of each season, and mutable was the end of all seasons. So maybe we can build off of that as our clues and as our context. So cardinal, they're like the type of personality, they're initiators. They're the beginning. They're active and enterprising. Fixed signs are sustainers. They're the middle of the season. They're sustaining the magic, I guess you could say, of that season, or the feeling of that season. And then the mutable signs are the type of signs that change with circumstance. Change with the world around them. I think that naming the signs as cardinal, fixed, and mutable adds a lot of context to who they are. So let's go over who they are. Let's go over the cardinal signs. So up here we have a wheel of the zodiac, and it's going from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are on the outside. Those glyphs, that's the same for every wheel you're going to see on my lessons. It's all going to be drawn that way. So up here, this first wheel. Inside the zodiac, we're highlighting that these 4 signs, where they're drawn in with the same color and the C, those are the cardinal signs. Up here, these are the fixed signs, the ones that are colored in, and then these are the mutable signs. And then underneath, we have the 4 cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And then the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And then the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, just the last sign of the zodiac. So the cardinal signs, let's go over the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs are Aries and Cancer. And then their opposites, Aries' opposite is Libra, which is also a cardinal sign. And Cancer's opposite is Capricorn, which is also a cardinal sign. All of those signs are the beginning of a season. They're all initiators. Aries initiates with a bang enough energy to start the entire zodiac. They initiate the whole thing. It's like a fire explosion. Cancer is like the initiation of our psychic body, of our emotional body. It's like the birth of our soul, pretty much. Libra would be the initiation of how we socially interact with people in the mature part of our life, how we learn and balance our social interactions. And Capricorn is the cardinal sign, the Earth cardinal sign. And yeah, Capricorn is the skeleton, and I guess you could say like continents. Yeah. I always take like a minute to like put together Earth because it's so slow, and then cardinal, and like how do those two things fit together? Which is like very slow moving plans. Like you make all the plans and you like slowly, very proactively fulfill your plans. Or that's how I see it, anyways. I mean, everybody, truth everywhere. Everybody has access to knowing truths about these things. So, the fixed signs, the sustainers, or you know what's interesting? I'll stop for a second and talk about how a lot of people have like put the word stubbornness like independently of like knowing their mode, I think, towards fixed signs. They're naturally stubborn in a good way. I think it's comfortable for them. So the fixed signs are Taurus, which is the earth sign, and Leo, which is the fire sign, and Scorpio, which is the water sign, which is the opposite of Taurus, and then Aquarius, which is an air sign. And all of those manifest their expression, like the intersection of their expression as a mode and as an element, in a very, I guess you could say, fixed way. So like they're the fixed expression of their element. So Taurus, that's like bodily harmony and gravity. And think about the sun, or Leo is a great context to put in, like, why is this fixed? Why is this part of fire fixed? Like Aries is an explosion and Sagittarius is like motion, but the sun, like, I don't know if anyone who's watching has ever made a fire, but how do you keep a fire hot over time? I think this is a great way to talk about it. How do you keep a fire hot over time? You keep the coals together and you keep feeding it. Like fire is a social thing. It needs more fire. Fire needs fire. It needs to huddle together. It needs itself. It needs its own mass in order to sustain itself. Like keeping a centered body is how fire sustains itself. And then Scorpio, as the fixed water sign, is like the water. Because water can be like ice, it can be like water, it can be like steam, but it's still like a fixed thing. Even if it is transformative in its properties, it still maintains that like good old H2O, and that's what it is. And then Aquarius is like the fixed version of air, and so that is kind of like the broadness of the entirety of your mind. Having a broad view, being fixed in having a very broad view to be able to see where all of the resources need to go. But I'll touch in on that later. Mutable signs, or the ones that change with circumstance, are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Mutable signs, there is a secret, beautiful truth hidden inside of the mutable signs. And I'll share a small grain of it now. Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury. And Sagittarius and Pisces, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Jupiter is a planet of expansion. It's like the final fire sign. It's about expanding yourself. Neptune is like the farthest out planet. We're not really talking about Pluto at the moment, but Neptune is like the farthest out planet. And it's about having having a visionary perspective of kind of like the whole, or of everyone's perspective. It's so another like macro thinker. What I'm trying to point out is that Mercury, the planet closest to the sun, planet of communication, of like details, is a micro thinker. Gemini has interest in like collecting all of the pieces of information, not necessarily interested in like putting them into like into understanding them, how they connect together as a vast thing, but they're interested in collecting all of the things, collecting all of the information. Virgo, also ruled by Mercury, it's about how you organize all of the information you've collected, what you do with that information now that you have it. But it's still about being a micro thinker. It's about daily actions, small daily actions build our life. Small pieces of information build the larger picture. And then, yeah, I will, if people who are going to watch all of the videos, I will for sure touch on this again. But I'm going to bring up a few more things about the modes before I end this lesson, because it's getting pretty long. Notice some cool patterns. Is anyone noticing patterns? Let's move this over because the sun is moving. The sun is moving, and the sun is kind of like our light right now. Yeah. Cool patterns. Have you ever heard of a square before? Or an opposite? That's what the modes are about. Squares and opposites. So when someone is saying that, say you have Aries sun, and an astrologer or someone who has interest in astrology tells you that the person you're dating, their sun is square to you. And what does that mean? Square to your sun. Your suns are square to each other. That would mean that this person, their sun sign would be either Capricorn or Cancer. Because these signs are 90 degrees apart. See, like it's making a cross? So if you just are looking at these two, they're making a square to one another. That's what a square is. It's just like interacting with another archetype that has the same mode of the original archetype. And then opposite sign, so you could probably see as well in the way that these are drawn, is that all of the ones that are opposite to one another are all the same mode. And so, like Aries and Libra, they're both cardinal, they're opposite one another. Taurus and Scorpio are fixed, and they're opposite one another. Gemini and Sagittarius are mutable, and they are opposite one another. And then Cancer and Capricorn are cardinal, and they are opposite one another. Leo and Aquarius are fixed, and they are opposite one another. Virgo and Pisces are mutable, and they are opposite one another. Just while we're here, and we're talking about opposites, like Mars is always opposite Venus. Mars of Aries, Mars of Scorpio is opposite of Venus of Libra, Venus of Taurus. Like opposing or like differing, not opposing, but like differing, very different energies that are like mirroring one another. Like opposites attract. I see things that people call as opposites, like they're, 180 degrees apart on the wheel of the zodiac, as more as mirrors. Seems to make more sense to me of how they actually function. Anyways, I'm starting to get a little bit rambly, and yeah, I think that that's all for this lesson today. Yeah, if you like these lessons and you want me to continue doing them and having resources to do them, then feel free to send me a tip on PayPal. I will have a Patreon account up fairly soon. And if you want one of these Queer Astrology Nerd t-shirts, then just maybe comment that you would like one, and I will set up a store. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.